The main risk factors for preventable chronic diseases are tobacco use, lack of physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. The risk factors have caused unpreventable and preventable diseases like disability and death. To reduce these risk factors, prevent diseases or injury before it ever occurs, reduce the impact of a disease or injury that has already occurred, soften the impact of an ongoing illness or injury that has lasting effects. We all need to invest our time and money in improving healthy lifestyle behaviors by increasing physical activity and improving our diet. By doing this, almost 35% of early deaths will be avoided. Our integrative nutrition health specialist, Betty Olayinka Folari Akinlosotu, aka BOFA, advocates for this every Sunday on Health Corner and nutrition segments showing on Healthy Living with BOFA channel, where she also features professionals on interview with expert segments. Join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. U.S. time, 7 p.m. UK and Nigeria time, 8 p.m. South African time. See you there.
Right. My goodness. This is awesome. Hello, viewers. Are you ready for BOFA show? We are live right now, and if you are ready, I am ready for you. I'm ready for you on this show that educates on wellness. I'm sure you've been waiting to see today, the day we've all been waiting, anticipating to see. Here we are. Thank you all for supporting and loving this show. It's not by power, not by your power, but by the grace of God. God bless you all for your dedication, your time, the beautiful time you invested on this program. Thank you so much. More grace. Okay, let's get started. I'm Betty Olayinka Folari Akinlosotu, aka BOFA, an untiring and unexpiring wellness advocate, coming to you live on YouTube channel every Sunday at this time all over the world on the same initiative, Healthy Living, and that is wellness. Let me ask you this question, and I'm very sure you have the answer right away. Do you want to live well in all areas of life? I'm sure you want to. Now, how serious are you about it? Or are you still struggling with these simple techniques, decision-making and determination to live healthy in life? Take a decision today and determine to be serious and religious about it. I promise you, you will enjoy life better than before. Trust me, I'm enjoying this beautiful, healthy lifestyle, as you can see. So why don't you take a moment today and decide and join me on this journey, a cruise to a healthy living highland. And as for me and my three beautiful, smart, intelligent, adorable children, we are living well. And I want you to do the same. Please do. If you are ready, okay, let's cruise down to Healthy Living with BOFA show. Yes, so last week on the show, we discussed about some challenges facing women and our girls in the society on Interview with Expert segment. We also talked about mental issues that are more common in women, and that was discussed on Health Corner. And lastly, on our nutrition segment, we educated on many ways we can naturally treat depression without medication. Today on Interview with Expert, oh Lord, it's about men, our fathers, our brothers, uncles, nephews, cousins, our boyfriends, our man friends, our concubines. Oh my goodness, everybody are now in the boat. So interview with experts, segment island. Seriously, today is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. So do me a favor. Before we get started, let's share this program. Share this show to invite people on the show now, not later, now. And also, don't forget to leave your comment, your remarks, your questions below this video. It's very important. Let's rub minds together. Let's find solutions to the problem we have in our society, especially in our marriages, our relationship. It is very important because it's part of life. This is what makes us live well. This is what determines how well we live in our community, in our society. So let's jump right into the boat. The boat that takes us to interview with expert island. So for this, after the break, we're going to have our guests on the show live. And I promise you, you will enjoy my guests today. So let's take a break at this time. And when we return, we'll get right into Okay, welcome back. It's awesome. It feels like we should have this day coming every day, not only Sunday, trust me. My guest is right here on time. So I give credit on that, right? All right, my people, this is Interview with Expert segment. Welcome back to Healthy Living with Bofa show. Today we have on the show Dr. Kunle Awotiku. He's a managing director and the CEO Uniplan Integrated Service Limited and wellness coach. Let me tell you about our guest today because I always do this on the show and you know me for that. I want you to know that introducing our guest, telling you our guest background means a lot to us on this program. It is start interview with experts. So we want you to know that all our guests on the show are experts, professionals, experienced ones. They're not just people we pick from the streets to come and talk to you. They want to tell you their experiences. They want to tell you what they know about health, the living. They want to tell you about wellness. So I introduce to you our guest on the show today as Dr. Kunle Awotiku. He earned his first degree in agricultural economics and extension from University of Ladoke, Akintola University of Technology in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Nigeria. His master's degree in personal psychology from University of Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. And he obtained his PhD in public administration from Howard University, Delaware, here in the United States. Dr. Kunle is a motivational speaker, a youth counselor, a writer of many books, and director of entrepreneurship, Nasima Youth, State of Osun. Wow. Dr. Kunle, you're welcome on the show. Interview with Are you doing?
I'm good. And it's good to be here.
Good to see you on the show.
Yeah, same here, same here, same
You
here.
look nice.
Oh, thank you. You look good too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How's everybody back home?
We're good.
I wish I'm in Nigeria at this time, but trust me, it's impossible. I love my country. My country is beautiful, no matter what is going on right now.
Don't worry, you're in Nigeria in a way because you're connecting to us in Nigeria right now.
Exactly. I like that. All right, let's begin.
Okay.
Let me first say thank you so much for accepting to join us on the show today to discuss about health effects of ugly things men face in relationship, or we call it marriage. We want to be precise and time conscious on this program, and I believe you are aware of that. There are a few things we would like you to discuss on the show today. No, we want to talk about men, we will not mention women, trust me. So we want to talk about it, those challenges, those difficulties, those things that's so hard for us to explain or to talk about it with other people. We want to talk about it, and we want to see if we can have solution to it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Very ready. All
right, people, please, my beautiful people, don't forget to send us your question right now. My guest is waiting, is more than ready to answer all your questions. You can send your questions to my number. Our business line is +1 917-889-6854. Please, no call. Please don't call, only text. Send your message. You can also leave your message, your comment, your questions below this video. Thanks so much for doing this. Okay, Dr. Kunle.
Yes, yes.
Now, we noticed something in our society, which simply means we were men are allowed to abuse, beat, or even murder their wives if they did something against their husband's beliefs. It has generally been viewed as okay or a normal thing in a marriage until the 1970s now changed everything. Now, the society have started viewing it as a crime. Even the study shows that as many as 1 in 3 victims of domestic violence are male. However, men are often reluctant to report abuse because they feel embarrassed. Maybe, perhaps, they think no one will believe them, or they are scared that their partner will take revenge. The question is, why are the victims of domestic violence are now male? Why are men are now the victim of abuse in the marriage?
Okay, thank you. I like the question. But the honest truth is that it has always been that way. Meaning men has always been involved in the domestic abuse. Did you get that? But the challenge is because of stigmatization, because of what people will say, because of disbelief, because of ego, because of the patriarchal culture that we have, you understand? It has been more of men do not have the boldness to come out and say that they have been molested or they have been abused or they are going through assaults. But the reason we are having the opportunity now, and the reason it seems like we are seeing men, or like the reverse is the case, is because now we have anonymity. Now people can be anonymous. Now we have the social media. Now we have the social platform. Now people can talk about experience without necessarily showcasing the face. Now, someone can go on Twitter and tweet that someone has been molested somewhere. Someone can even be saying a story trying to talk about someone, like he's talking about someone, you know, like reporting and yourself, but as though you're reporting a case of someone else. And so that now gives room for people to have a stigmatization without being scared of Secondly, I must the experience of why we're having this happening now is also because of economic power. You understand? We are now beginning to have ladies having more of the economic power than some men. When you talk about some homes now, because of the kind of jobs that we have experiencing now, in fact, I'm an HR, and it's something I'm discussing in my field, especially in Nigeria. There are some jobs that men find it difficult to get these days. You know, in those days, you have more of female find difficult to get some jobs, but now you have men find difficult to get some jobs. And so because of that, molestation is being increased. And that's why we're now seeing more of men being abused, because they want to have settle their home, they want to settle themselves, and that is what is happening.
Wow. Well, I agree with you. More women are empowered than before. But don't forget that domestic violence and intimate partner abuse have been the issue in our community for 100 years. We all understand that. Then women were under the control of their husband and treated as property that the men hold. Now, let's flip the coins in reverse. If men are now the victim, should we say men are under the control of their wives and should be seen as property owned by women? It's just funny.
The honest truth is men are not necessarily under their wives. But when you talk about the power of manipulation, power of coercion, as against power of persuasion, we can say that in a way, some men are being controlled, even though not necessarily owned, but they are being controlled by their female, by the wives, by the gender, the female gender, and it's becoming an issue. I must say to you that unfortunately, some men died in silence, and they cannot really voice out, and it has become. I have some case study that makes me smile when I think about it. Because why do I use the word smile? It makes me begin to think that there is so much focus on women or domestic violence, and then we think about women, not knowing that there are men that are passing through a whole lot, but they can't talk about it. So in answering your question, I will not necessarily say that they are being owned by their wives, but I can say that they are being controlled by their wives. So in an essence, what you can have a control over, we can say you own it. So I think you understand that.
Yes, I do. Now,
whatever you can have a control over, I think you own it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So if no, don't let me extend this question, because if we start talking about the controls and whoever owns each other, we won't leave this show. Trust me. Because now it's 50-50, especially in this America, it's 50-50. You take your knife or your axe, whatever, or your cutlass, cut that responsibility into 50-50. I'm doing 50, you are doing 50. So who is in control? Who is the head of the family? So I don't want to go there. If we continue with that, we won't leave here today.
Sorry. Do you know what you just mentioned now? What? It's actually the greatest issue that is now making the domestic violence come from women to men.
How?
Because in the days of tradition, in the days of culture, in the days when women knows that they cannot just talk anyhow, because in sharing of responsibility, that it still goes more from the men. But in the case that that, man, if I leave the house, I have a lot of rights, I have a lot of things that can give me a lot of fun. And so for you as my husband, you misbehave, I can say to you, man, you're messing up. Fuck the shit in America, I don't like that. You talk to me like that, get up. And when I know that I have the singular right to do that, a man will not want to do anything to me anyhow. And obviously, the men will even want to keep silent and keep quiet, because they know that if they voice out, there might be some laws that can work against them. Some of those factors still has to also do with law. When you look at what operates in the system, what operates in the structure. So the way it operates in America is different from the way it operates in Africa.
No, in Africa now, you see women doing the same thing. They are doing exactly the same. They're sharing responsibility. It's not only in the US.
That's what I'm saying. They are sharing the responsibility, but they do not have the law standing. So a woman in America that wants to bring this out, or let me even say that universally, what we're experiencing right now is because of the economic power. And so if we share responsibility, then I should voice out easily. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. Let's just move on. I don't want to argue on that. I promised myself today that I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to say something because
no. We are trying to.
I don't want to shoot anybody on this show today. Don't let me shoot. Okay, now Dr. Kunle.
Yes,
please. We all understand what domestic violence is. Of course, it's the verbal, emotional, physical, or sexual abuse of one's partner. If we all agree on that, can you tell us how man can be a victim of sexual abuse?
Okay, when we talk about sexual abuse, of course, let's start from abuse itself. You know, abuse can come in different ways, like you mentioned. So sometimes the abuse is not even sexual. So before I even answer the sexual, I'd like to answer the other abuse. Then I'll take you to sexual abuse. Because one of the things that kills people back in relationship is that there are some abuse that are verbal. For example, you see a woman because of economic power talks to a man anyhow, and the man does not know what to say. Now let's bring it down to the psychological abuse, where you have someone being manipulated, when you have someone going in the depths that is ought not to go. But I want to streamline it anyway to your main question, which is sexual abuse now. The truth being told, there are times that some men are not ready for what they are doing, but they have to do it for sex. I was sharing, I was having a talk somewhere recent where I was sharing the issue of a secretary, or let's bring it back home, of a secretary that came back to the wife's house and she was to bring a notice and information for the boss and came in naked. Men are moved by what they see. It's an abuse for a woman that you know your husband is tired, is off, and because of your urge, you do not have an agreement. There was no mutual agreement to having a sexual intercourse. And because you know a man is moved by what he sees, and you then manipulate him into having it. And the next thing you say is, oh no, I think you are actually good. In fact, sometimes we have heterosexual. We have people that comes with that line, and then the next thing they say is, okay, I know you enjoyed yourself. Oh, I saw the way you were rising. A man erection is actually a physiological process. It does not necessarily say that he wants to. It's just like an heartbeat. It's just like a blood flow. It's just psychological. It's natural. It's just normal. And now when that happens, that does not necessarily say that the man's consent is in. That does not necessarily say that the man is involved or is ready for such. And so we can look at sexual abuse from having to affect a man, seduction, manipulation through sight, and all of this can make a man to be sexually abused and manipulated.
Wow. Now, let's back it up with what the research, the study says about this.
Yes, well, I wanted to show you a study that I wrote about.
The study shows that women and men with these issues of domestic violence are more likely to be abused again and again and again. Why? Because they are more vulnerable to repeat violence. Now, the question is, why did men stay in unsafe relationship and environment, making them open to revictimization? Sorry. Why?
Okay.
You understand that the reason why women do that is because, some reason I want to stay with my kids, I want religious reason and something.
Yeah,
what about men? Why do they, stay in unsafe relationship?
Okay. You see, honestly, this particular question comes in different ways. I will start from the one that is so amazing, that is called love. And I want to call it assumed love. Mm-hmm. Some will say love is blind. I share with people, love is no longer blind. Love can see. Love now have an eye. Love can see. Okay, there was a case of about 2 or 3 cases in Africa. I heard one in Tanzania of the wife killing the husband out of domestic violence.
Mhm.
Now, the one that is most painful is a man that has been tortured. I think that happened in Nigeria, that has been tortured and still came back home and still came to sleep with that same woman that stabbed him and was eventually stabbed to death because he couldn't control himself because he was strong any longer. Now, why men experience being re-abused, if I can use that word, or becoming victimized, is because, number one, they make an assumption is still my love, and I believe it's over. I believe we are no longer fighting. I believe everything is now okay, so I can carry on. That's number one reason, which is very, very amazing. A second factors that make people to stay and become re-victimized is that they don't even know how to speak out. They don't even want to voice out the stigma. You know, I was sharing with people the ego. How will a man say to the community that my wife beats me? How does it sound? I was beaten by my wife. How does he want to say that to his friends? How does he want to say that in society? You know, my wife beats me today. And so because of that, it keeps quiet. It tries to be, you know, because we have this amazing culture in the system that says that a man is a superhero. You know, a man is a small god that cannot be treated anyhow. And so when he's treated anyhow, the man feels less of himself if he speaks about it. And so he doesn't want to talk. He wants to keep silent. Infidelity comes in. You know, there are men that sees their wives cheating and they cannot talk.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, saying people think I'm not a man any longer. People even begin to tell me that how on earth will you make that happen to you? And so this has become a big issue that needs to be looked into. And that is why number one thing that men need to know is that if you are a victim of domestic violence, you need not to hide any longer. You need not to think that you are less of yourself or less of a man. You need to voice out, because not voicing out can make you lose your life. Another factor that makes people stay and make them to become victim is because they also keep a wrong association. So they get to share their issue with the wrong person. And when they do that and they don't have the right advice, they don't have the right consent, sometimes they become re-victimized. And of course, one more that I would like to add is that, of course, for the stigma of the society, which is disbelief. Will they believe me? In the first place, will anyone even believe? Won't they think I'm cooking up the story? And so they hide it, and from hiding it, they become re-victimized.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Kunle. I have a question from, it's coming from my WhatsApp, and it says that, how do men protect himself as an abused male?
Abused male, that's a man abusing a man.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter.
Am I right?
Yeah. No. How do you, let's say, how do a man being protected? I think that's the question he's asking. It doesn't matter whether he's a male.
Okay,
or we're talking about relationship now. We're not talking the homosexuality. We're talking about, man and woman relationship. So he's asking that, how do men protect himself as an abused male, abused man? Maybe.
Okay, so that means that how can he protect himself? Because already abused.
From abuse, yeah, from abuse, exactly.
From having to be re-abused.
Yes, exactly.
Right. The first thing is to use the senses, not to be blind, not to make assumption. You know, like I mentioned, if I know that as a man, I am living with a woman that has the physical power more than me, and I know that there is a dispute, it is unsafe for me to stay in that environment. It's just as simple as that. There is no need for me to try and the person I've married is an hot-tempered individual. You know, some persons have experienced being poured acid on. Some have experienced being poured hot water on. And the reason they are re-abused is because, in fact, let me say this. Let me bring it to the emotional aspect. Do you know some people, their abuse is not even physical? There are people that have been abused from the tender age, and then they've kept that memory in their mind that it has become like a norm for them to be abused. And so sometimes, even when they are not supposed to be abused, they create the room for the abuse. And so some of the ways to be out of it also is to also ensure that they delete every form of abuse and come to the position that they ought not to be abused. Believing that I should not be abused in any way, and let me not give any room or position for abuse to come in the first place. Because let me give an instance. Say we are talking about the home. How will a woman, the domestic violence, what will make a woman to actually abuse or have a sexual assault or have a domestic violence on the husband is that in one way or the other, she has an overwhelming power. The overwhelming power might come in either physical, might come in either psychological, might come in either emotional. Then the man needs to check, do I have anything that I can do that can overpower this? Or do I have anything I can do that can suppress this? Or do I have anything I can do that can balance this? Take, for instance, if I know that the work I am doing is not commensurate to the money we're spending in the house, as a man, it's important for me to move out and get more. Not waiting and say that because I know that my wife has a good job, she will always take care of us in the house. I'm already creating a room for that woman to do something else with me if it happens. I don't know if you're getting it. So one of the best ways to save yourself from being re-abused or from being re-assaulted or from being having the domestic violence reoccurring is that you take yourself from the position of the low level to the medium level and of course to the high level as a man.
Wow.
And never think that nothing is impossible. That's another issue with men. Some believe that it's not just possible. I'm a man, so nothing can happen. Anything can happen to anyone. And so it must always be fair.
That's true. Thank you so much. Now, let's look at the implications of this abuse. We've talked about what abuse is, how we can be affected, or who can be affected, how we can get out of it, avoid it. Let's talk about implication, because once people know the implication of this, they will be more cautious, they will be more careful in getting involved or, exposing themselves into domestic violence. What are the health implications? I mean, possible short-term or long-term effect on men's health after being abused in a relationship, because this will teach and educate other people.
Let's wait. I didn't get that.
Did you get the questions?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. What are the health implications? You want to tell us the possible short-term and long-term of effect on men's health after being abused or before? Because it's better we know the implication before we get ourselves into that mess. Maybe if people can be educated on the implications, they will be more cautious. They will know that, okay, I have to be very careful in getting myself in this sort of mess. So what are the implications? I mean, health implications.
Okay, let me quickly say that because for some viewers watching, so my doctorate, you had all my courses, so you're not a medical doctor. All right, but what makes me to talk in this line? No, not you. I'm saying viewers so that they get that fact right. So what I'll be talking from the angle of a wellness expert, a wellness coach, and of course as a psychologist. That's the angle I will be taking it from. I'm also from a counseling unit that I've counseled a lot of persons that have experienced this. Okay, so
2 minutes.
Some of the implications and some of the things that happen. One is hallucination. They begin to hallucinate, and that can be very dangerous. They begin to bring back what has happened, having a flashback, having to think about it. Some people keep them not to think properly. In fact, it makes some people to. Is one of the factors that can come in. It also comes in with depression. It comes with anxiety. There are persons that when they are already abused, they lose their self-esteem. And so they don't even see themselves as a man. They begin to think, how on earth would this happen to me? How will I allow this to happen in the first place? So is more things that can be very dangerous at twice. Let me also say that abuse actually, in fact, research has shown and scientifically proven that when a man is not happy, it tends to be affected when it comes to fertilization.
That's true.
And so, for that reason, some people or some persons are actually looking for the fruit of the womb but do not have any child because they've been abused. And they've not worked out of the abuse. They've not tried to liberate themselves from the abuse. And that has in one way or the other affected them. And so it's transferred from just a normal act to other experiences and other things that happens to them. I actually wrote something down this afternoon. I was actually looking at the experience of one of my clients. I actually counseled this particular person. And I noticed that there is one major thing that happens to people that are also being abused, men now, and that is isolation. They want to withdraw. They want to keep from others. They want to keep away. And this withdrawal, I didn't mean it's going to remain at withdrawal state. It will have been better. But it leads them to doing things that are off. So from my client's experience, I noticed that sexual abuse can also lead men to masturbation.
Yes, that's true.
So what I discovered from my client is that anytime he's off or that memory comes back, he has a sexual urge and is so crazy that he withdraws and goes to an isolated place to masturbate. Unfortunately, it has now become something that is dangerous, that is now beginning to have anger. And the anger is leading him to thinking of killing.
Suicidal.
So he's already coming to suicide, which is dangerous.
That's
so
true.
These are effects that can come in. It's more of psychological
effect. Yes.
You sit down, you think about it, and then you begin to look at every heart. That's the one I wrote down for my friend's case. Every heart.
Thank you.
And that's, of course, comes from the fear of judgment.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And so on.
Now, these last two questions, I just want you to say yes or no.
Okay.
Your answer will determine if we are going to continue, if we're going to argue on that. That means if we have more time. Otherwise, I will have to bring you back to come and argue with me on that. Now, do you ever think that low or poor, be careful with this, what I'm going to say, listen very well. Do you believe that low or poor sexual performance, sexual problem, whether medically confirmed or not, can interrupt sweet? When I say sweet, I mean happy home. Because one of the health implications is reproductive and sexual health. That's one of the implications, as in medical, side of it. Now, do you believe that this domestic violence we're talking about, poor sexual performance, can, interrupt happy home?
You get me?
Yes or no?
Say yes or no, right?
Yes.
So yes, it can.
It can. Thank you.
And
the last one,
yes.
The last one is coming from one of our viewers. Actually, the question was asked last week, but unfortunately, I got the question late. That was after the program. So I'm going to tell you the question. The man is asking that, should domestic violence be handled as a public health problem, which must be treated as a public safety concern?
Should we do that?
Should domestic violence be handled as a public health problem, which also must be treated as a public safety concern? So this now is referring to a general public, the government, the institutions, organizations,
Organizations, bodies, society.
So, exactly. Should we see?
You want a yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes and no.
Okay. Why is no?
Good. It is not all cases that should be made completely public. Because there are some cases that while you're trying to make it public, the victim and the perpetrator might actually be dead before you even finish the case. And that has happened over and over again, especially when the case is wrongly managed.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Or when the information is not coming accurately and one party feels off. And so I would say yes, when all the process and not all the information are accurate, adequate, and are being worked on rightly. I would say no when all of that is not.
Thank you so much. I agree with you on that. Now, the last question is coming from WhatsApp, and it says that, in your opinion, what do you think will make relationship even stronger? And I want you to answer this because of our time. Just 30 seconds, please. Yes.
Okay. Let me just say that what will make relationships stronger, I would like to just give it in a simple way. Because communication, love, business sincerity, ensuring that you are transparent, you're open. One of the things that affect relationships is that people are not oftentimes open. I would have, if not that I had 80 seconds, I would have used the relationship itself, like the spelling REALAT. I have synonyms on that I use to actually talk about relationship. But the only one I'm going to use for now in my 20 seconds left is the R. And that is, let me say R and E. Okay, that's fine. R, ensure that you read one another very well and you respect one another very well. Make sure that you read to know, get to know your partner very well. Don't assume. And make sure you respect the partner, respect their opinion, respect their feelings, respect how they handle things. And let me go to the E for now. I would say that learn to educate and learn to empathize. Always put yourself in each other's shoes. If you do that, you will grow your relationship and you make it to be a better one. I have 80 seconds from my moderator, so I have to stop there.
Thank you so much. I know you've been avoiding my shooting this morning, and I'm not going to shoot you, don't worry. Okay, lastly, Dr. Kunle, can you please tell us about all your upcoming classes? Dr. Kunle is a coach, a wellness coach, a writer, motivational speakers. He has multiple classes going on right now. Can you please tell us about your classes, training, workshop program in a few minutes? We want to know the theme, the date and time, and the location. Go ahead. You have 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds to do that. Okay.
Yes.
We have quite a number of programs coming up. And so since I had 30 seconds, let me make it in a very good way that we have a lot of programs in line of graphic designing, some vocational trainings. We have programs in the area of, as an HR, I own a recruiting firm. So we have programs in recruiting, we have programs in development, we have program in wellness as a wellness coach. We are doing programs in the area of helping people to learn. So I feel I cannot say all of this in 30 seconds. So this is what I'm going to do. I believe strongly that all of this information are on our pages. And so if you are on LinkedIn, especially on Instagram, I believe especially on Instagram, we have all our information on at Uniplan Integrated Services, UNIPLAN Integrated Services, at Uniplan Integrated Services. If you follow that page, of course, if you follow my page too, at Awotiku Kunle, that's on Instagram, and Kunle Awotiku on other pages, you have access to all of our programs. But the one I would like to attach to this program in particular is that we are going to select 50 persons that are watching, that are going to follow this link. And I will make my guest, my host, to decide what the code will be. She will mention that right away. Okay, so the very first that I Kunle and at Uniplan Integration, the world will be having some ebooks for free and some resource materials for free. But because we cannot see some persons physically, especially for some of our trainings, for public speaking is going to cut across everyone across the globe. But the ones that we cannot see everyone, that you need to add like an hands-on training, that will be limited to Ibadan or your state in Nigeria. And Lagos maybe. So the very first 50 to send in the code she mentions, they will have this training for free, cuts to this program. So that's going to be our own empowerment for the youth.
Are these free? We want to know if all this is free.
Okay, so all the programs I mentioned before, the graphic design is not free. Our program on soap making, bead making is not free. For the general persons, we have 5,000, that's Nigerian figure, which is approximately, that's $10, around $10. We have these other trainings in that line. Then we have some of our professional trainings, HRM, HSC, they are around $20. But the one I mentioned for the 50 persons attached to this program for the vocational training and to be selected, that is absolutely free. That is courtesy Uniplan Integrated Services.
Thank you so much. And the code is BOFA Show 2021. That's the code. Is it too long or you want me to make it shorter?
I don't think that's too long.
BOFA Show 2021. That's it. Thank you so much, Dr. Kunle. I am so happy. I'm honored to have you on the show today. And I want to thank you for joining us to educate us, to share your experience, especially your wisdom, your background, everything that's God made you to be today. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
You're welcome.
God bless you for joining us.
Can I interrupt in a second?
Sure.
Okay, so I just feel some persons might want to send me a DM on maybe on my WhatsApp. And so I believe you can share that with them. Or we want me to?
I'll do that because of our time. You can send it to me on my WhatsApp. I'll do that on my broadcast page because of our time. We gotta go now because of our time. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you
that's
so much
fine.
for coming. God bless you. I pray for good health, that you need to do more to your people.
Amen.
And your community.
Amen.
God bless you for coming.
Amen.
Viewers, we have to, I believe you guys enjoyed today's show. And there's no doubt about it. I'm so happy. I'm so excited for giving you this information. So we have to let our guests go now and let's take a break. After the break, it's our health corner and our nutrition segment. All right, coming back to health corners, we have to do this. We can't ignore it. It is very important, and it's one of the segments you, my lovers, my fans, viewers have been waiting to have today. In a few minutes, we're going to go down to our health corners, and that will take us to, yes, so our nutrition segment. Wow. All right. Our health tip last week was on mental issues affecting women and girls in our community. Today's topic is understanding male sexual problems, which means we are going to be talking about sex today. Okay, let's talk about sex, right? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. You know, this is one of the things we ignore in our society. We ignore sex. We don't want to talk about it. And trust me, and guess what? It's part of life. In fact, if not the first, it is one of the most important parts of our lives. And we have to stop running away from this truth. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Excuse me, how long are we going to ignore this? This is what is killing some marriages, like we rightly said on Interview with Expert, a lot of homes have broken. We have marriages that remain silent. They are dying silently. They don't want to talk about it. And when you talk about it, trust me, you find solutions. If not all, from organization, from education like this, program like this, you get it from your doctor, because we're going to mention it on the program, why educating you, where to find the solution, and you will. But in keeping quiet, remaining mute, it doesn't really make it. No, doesn't worth it. Let's do it. So today's topic is improving sexual performance in men and women. I'm not going to limit it to men now. It's going to be all of us in the box. All right? Women are not left out of the box. We are both in the box. A sexual problem, or call it sexual dysfunction, it's a problem during any phase of sexual response cycle that prevents the individual or couple from experiencing satisfaction from the sexual activity. And this sexual response cycles has 4 phases: excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. Resolution is the last one. And let me tell you this, whatever I say here is backed up. It's supported with research. And that research suggested that sexual dysfunction is common. About 43% of women and 31% of men report some degrees of difficulties. It is a topic that many people do not want to discuss. But trust me, many people are dying silently of this particular problem, sexual problem, or call it dysfunction, sexual dysfunction. Now, let's look at the causes. What caused this sexual problem? What are the causes? Let's first understand that. And let me tell you, the causes can be a result of a physical or psychological condition. If caused by physical condition, this will include diabetes, heart and vascular problem, disease, like a blood vessel problem, neurological disorders, low testosterone, menopause, inflammatory bowel movement disease, loss of bladder control, chronic pain, hormonal imbalances, chronic disease such as kidney, liver failure, prostate cancer, alcoholism, and drug abuse. These are the physical conditions. What's physical condition? Type of physical condition that can cause this. I just mentioned them. In addition, the side effect of certain medication, including some antidepressant drugs, can also affect sexual desire and function. We need to know this. And if it's caused by psychological condition, this will include work-related stress and anxiety, concern about sexual performance, marital or relationship problems, depression, PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder, feeling of guilt, and the effect of a past sexual trauma. We mentioned some of this on Interview with Experts, such as rape is one of the past sexual trauma. Now, I want you to understand that both men and women are affected by this problem, sexual dysfunction. It's not only men that experience it, and they can occur in adults of ages, such as seniors, and these may be related to a decline in health associated with aging. Now, let's talk about the symptoms. The symptoms could be lack of sexual desire, sexual fantasy, or interest in sexual contact, inability to have or maintain any erection, as well as erection sufficient for sexual penetration, inability to reach an orgasm despite adequate sexual stimulation and signs of arousal. If you have orgasm only after an unusually lengthy period of stimulation, you have a problem. That is a sign of sexual problem. We have more and more and more and more like that, which I will probably post on my broadcast, Bofa Show broadcast. I will share that with you. Now, this is what I want you to do. If you see any signs, please immediately see your doctor. It is very important, especially if it is lasting more than 2 hours. If you see these signs and they last more than 2 hours, please do see your doctor. It's very important. And for those of you that have arthritis, you definitely have sexual problem. Take note of that. What you can do before sex is you can plan sex for the time of the day when you normally feel your best. You can take your pain medication at least 30 minutes beforehand. You support your joint with pillows or roll sheet. We're going to talk about it in when I get to style that you can do. We're going to talk about it. We just have to talk about this because this is killing some men and we have to talk about it. Some women are so lazy. They are immature to treat their husband the way they should. So we're going to talk about today, and most of the things I'm going to talk about lies on women. So we have to pay attention and learn so much. And the last thing you want to do if you have arthritis is you want to use massage to soothe sore muscles and joint. And you want to also take a nap before sex if you tired, because when you're feeling tired, you can't do anything. So please do that. Now, what are the implications? I like to talk about the implication of sexual dysfunction. If you know the implication, you will avoid from being a victim of that problem. Number one implication is it weakens immune system function. It increases or raises blood pressure. It also increases stress level and increases risk of cardiovascular events. In male, please listen to this. Prostate health problem is common if you have this sexual problem. Because the study also shows that men who ejaculate at least 21 times per month had a lower risk of prostate cancer compared to those who ejaculate 4 to 7 times per month. Now, let's do the math. If you have to do it 21 times a month, that is approximately more than 5 times a week. That is basically 5 days a week. So that means you know how to work it out. Maybe you're going to have timetable or you're going to talk about it, okay, 3 times a day for 3 days. Just work it out. This is very helpful. If you can't do it, please speak to your doctor. That means there's a problem. But if you can do it, do it. At least once a week is medically advised. Now, how does this affect our mental health? We have a few minutes. Our mental health. Negatively, it affects our emotional well-being. This is basically means you feel distressed, feel insecure or anxious. Sometimes you feel aggravated, cranky, upset unnecessarily. And that is why some people do masturbation, because it reduces stress and anxiety and also releases hormones that produce temporary mood boosts. And what negative effect does this have on relationship? It deteriorates communication and feelings of closeness. It makes one feel that his or her partner is no longer attracted to him or her. Now, how do you know or naturally improve your sexual performance? This is where I want you to pay attention. how do you naturally improve your sexual performance? Men, ladies, stay with me on this. The first thing you want to do, you want to stay active. I'm going to be a little bit, over 3 o'clock today, over our time, because this is very important. I have to talk about it. You want to stay active. Walk at least 30 minutes. Anyway, if you are not active, how do you want to do it? You can't go on the field and play ball if you are not active. Seriously? And apart from staying active, to be sexually fit, cardiovascular exercise is one of the best ways to improve your health. Take note of that. So whatever you are doing, physical activities you're doing around, or any exercise, you are actually helping your sexual health. You also want to do yourself a favor and tell your partner your erogenous zone. Your erogenous zone is very important. These are sexual response area of the human body. They are the areas that are commonly sensitive. And we have about 21 erogenous zone in human body, 14 in women and 7 in men. In women, we have scalp, we have ears, we have inner arms, armpit, we have inner wrists, we have palms and fingers, tips, behind the neck, areola and nipples, mouth, lips, neck, inner thigh, clitoris, your clitoris, cervix is one of it. There's something we call a spot. I feel like showing you all this so that you can see the picture. But for the fact that we have young, underage watching this program, we still have to be very conscious of this. So there's one we call a spot. A spot is the lower part of the vagina opening between our cervix, women's cervix, and her bladder, known as female degenerated prostate, or you can call it anterior fornix erogenous zone. It's full of erotically charged nerve endings, erotically charged nerve endings. It can lead to rape, vaginal lubrication, like a rapid one. Rapid vaginal lubrication and arousal when stimulated, and also lead to an intense orgasm. We have another one that is called G-spot. The G-spot is part of the clitoral network, a highly sensitive area, for that matter, of the anterior wall of the vagina capable of ejaculation. It's also one of the best and sensitive female erogenous zone. And in men, we have penis, mouth, and lip, your lips, scrotum, and testicle, neck, nipples, perineum, and your ears. Try your best to stimulate your partner on this area. Stop complaining. Do your best. Know how to do it. If you can, go online, go on YouTube, go on Google, search for it. Learn, study, train yourself on this. Keep your home. Keep your woman to yourself. Some people have more than erogenous zone. You have to be very careful on that too. If you can locate one, please do your best on that. Sex involves kissing, caressing, sucking, fingering, linking, massaging, hugging, and more. All these foreplay come first before penetration. Get that fact. You don't just go straight out, in, out. Do something interesting that will make it beautiful for the day for you. In fact, you must stimulate one another before penetration, which is known as intercourse. When you mention sex, people believe that in and out, in and out. No, it involves so many things. Kissing, caressing, like I mentioned. This will make your man or your woman get, stimulated or hard. This is what we need to do. Take these steps. You also want to try some sex style variation. That's where we are going now. I know many people are waiting for this step. You want to try variation style, such as legs on chest, doggy, stacked spooning. We call it, we have 3 types of doggy. We have stacked spooning. We have flattened doggy. We have pillow under pelvis doggy. These are the 3 style doggies. We also have a style called woman on top. We also have chair style, women on top, while your man will sit on the chair and you sit on him. What you need to do in this area is pay attention to your partner's preference in this. Discover the style your partner likes. Paying special attention to your partner's desires will not only make sex pleasurable for him or her, but it can also help turn you on or slow you down depending on the signal you get from him or her. Simple as that. If you are not lasting as long as you are like in the bed, you might need to do some practice. Do some practice. There's nothing you can do. You can masturbate. And masturbation can also help you improve your longevity. So do that. It's healthy. You're just helping yourself in this relationship. You want to pay attention to your vascular health. You want to size yourself. Size matters too. Get slim and stay slim. Trim waistline is one of good defense. Yes. Bring yourself down. Too much of tummy, too much of belly, it's too much. You can't do it with this. It doesn't work that way. Some women don't like it and they won't say it. They will be shitting on you. And you women, if you so much gaining weight all the time. I've seen a friend that divorced his wife because she gains weight, because she said she can't find a way down to the promised land. She divorced. I mean, he divorced his wife instead of, shitting on her. That's the best solution. Do we want that to continue in our society? No, we want to keep our homes. Please. You also want to get some sun. Sunlight stops the body's production of melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleep. Yes. Also, it is potential for more sexual desire. So you want to get more sunlight to yourself, to your body. You stay outside. Some people tan. It's not because they want to do any other thing. They want to just get the sunlight. And the last one you should do is water intake. And that will take us to nutrition quickly. In 5 minutes, I told you I'm going to take your time. Nutrition segment we are right now, and we are discussing how to do this, what to do and what not to do, things you should do and shouldn't after sex. You want to stay hydrated. Drink water, at least 6 to 7 glasses of water a day. You want to wash up and clean. A simple way, cleans up. Do it. Wear loose garments, clothing. You just want to wear something loose, not too tight. Your underwear or your clothes must have a way of getting air inside of you. It's very important. You want to take care of any yeast infection. That is why I advise the women, please do your pap smear to discover if there is any infection. STD, cervical uterine, pelvic cancer could be right sitting there in you. Do your pap smear, do your test, your cervical test, your uterus test, everything will be done in this pap smear exam. Please do that. You also want to wash your hands before and after sex. Don't just go and do it. And after, I've seen many men complaining that their women, they do it, they don't wash their hands, they don't even shower, they don't bathe. How will you do that? So you want to wash your hands, your body before and after. You please, ladies, you do this. You want to stop doing doching. You don't doge. Don't doge, please. Don't doge. It can lead to more infection. You don't want to do this because it upsets the natural balance of bacteria that protect your vagina. Please don't do it. You also want to empty your bladder before and after sex. When you pee, you flush those germs out. Certain food can also help you increase blood flow, such as onions and garlic. Meat like omega-3 fatty acid, you get that one from fish. Salmon, tuna, you get it from avocado and olive oil. All these you want to try. You also want to take what I call cranberry. You can take the fruit, you can take the juice, you can also take the peel. It's very, very important. And the last one I want to advise on, which is very important, you want to get more help. If you try all these ways and nothing seems working, don't hesitate to talk to your doctor about how you can improve your sexual performance. This erectile dysfunction has broken and destroyed so many homes. I'm saying it, especially those men that marry to sex addict women. You may need medical treatment if you have erectile dysfunction or what we call it, Peyronie disease. It's another topic that we are going to discuss on our show. So the bottom line is, before I bring it to an end, the show today, there is no correct amount of sex to have, and the best frequency varies from person to person. How often do you have sex? This is just the answer to it. There is no correct amount of sex to have because the frequencies varies from person to person. But not having sex for a long time should not have negative health effects. That is a way you can do it. You can do so many things. You can exercise, you can masturbate, do things before you see your partner. You don't just keep yourself like what is going on in the world. No, you have to be part of this. So there is no right or wrong way to express your sexual feeling as long as everyone involved in clearly consenting to it. No one should ever feel obliged to have sex. It is very, very understandable. So avoiding sex will not harm a person's health, and it may even be healthy. However, healthy sex life can strengthen your bond with your partner and keep your relationship healthy. Please, and please, do your best. Just do your best. That's all I'm going to say today on the show. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us. You are the best. No one but you on the show today. And I want to appreciate all our followers, our viewers. You are the best. I must say this. And thank you so much. I'm still your host, Betsy Olayinka Folari Akinlosotu, aka Bofa, coming to you live on Wellness. I'll see you next week. Be safe, eat well, look nice, be well. See you next week.